So hey, this is Totu Bravo, and we're going to do a video today on our Polaris 570, our 2021 Polaris 570. We've got it jammed in the garage here, kind of a tight fit, but we got a couple things we're going to add today. We're going to go over some things that we've done here recently, since we haven't done any type of update video in quite some time. So you can see we've already pulled the tires. I spared you guys that. So what we're going to add today is we ordered EPI Performance wheel spacers. These are 1-inch wheel spacers from EPI. They are part number EPI WS025. And again, these are the 1-inch wheel spacers that we're going to add to the bike today to increase our stance a little bit. I've already taken the time to lube the wheel bearings here at the rear of the bike. I did that off camera. I've got a video out there if you guys want to see how that's done. But I've already done the 2 wheel bearings in the back. I've gotten some questions concerning what I use to do the wheel bearings, and these are from EPI also. You can see that this is a 40 millimeter greaser, and I believe that's the rear. And we have the 35 millimeter greaser from EPI, and that is for the front wheel bearings. So a 40 and a 35 from EPI, and that'll get you going on greasing your wheel bearings. Now, as you can see over here, we've already taken one of the spacers out and did a test fit. It's not tightened yet, so that will be next. We'll tighten it up, see how secure it is, but there's what it looks like. I've got to get myself a socket that's going to fit in here so I can tighten these down in the proper fashion. Hopefully I have something on hand. So while I look for that socket, I'm going to go ahead and attach you guys somewhere so you can watch me doing this. And then obviously we'll do the front of the bike, and we'll go from there. New tool that I've been using from Harbor Freight. It's the Hercules brushless impact wrench. 20 volts, 5 amp hours, and I think this goes up to 525 foot-pounds. So far it's worked really good. So far I'm happy with that. All right, so we'll get you rigged up and we'll be right back. All right, so like I spoke about earlier, we've greased these wheel bearings again. We've inspected everything. You know, it just made sense since I had the tire off to go ahead and look at everything. The brake wear, if you can see right there, right in there. I don't know if we can catch good enough light. Maybe I can help it just a little. But our brake wear is pretty good. We're still good there. Plenty of brake shoe left. Plenty of brake pad left. So, no problems there. Get you guys a good angle here. Okay. I had to run out and get a socket, a thin-walled socket that would fit here. And we're going to switch camera views here in just a moment so we can use the impact wrench to tighten these down. It specifies that these are tightened down to 74 foot-pounds. We're going to start with the driver here, and then the impact wrench here, and then we will go to transition to the torque wrench. So now that I can speak English, for the love of Pete, let's get you set up and we'll switch out the torque wrench. We'll be right back. All right, we got our view squared away. Let's get everything off of here and switched out. All right, here we go. Next, we will check that with the torque wrench. This might be something we have to do with the wheel on. I don't think we can do that with the wheel on. So let's try, let's see what we can do here. Let's torque it out. 74. There's 74 there. $74 there. Oops, sorry about that. We hit the camera. I'm trying not to fall. All right. $74 there. And 74 there. All right. So I think we're good to go. Yep. Yep. So there we go. 74 foot-pounds of torque applied to each one of these. And looks pretty good. All right, let's clean up our mess. And we'll transition to the other side. We'll be right back. All right, we have transitioned to the other side of the bike. Go ahead and put this on so you guys can see that. You guys get the extra background noise of the wind chimes there. All right, these just simply slide on like that. And we will hand tighten these. Oh, well, that'll make the gag reel maybe, huh? Knucklehead. Okay, these go in here. We were going to hand tighten them, but you know what? Let's use the new Hercules on these. Make our life a little easier. All right. And then we'll torque it down to 74. We'll be squared away. All right, so here we go. I think we're off canter a little bit. I think. Let's see. Yeah, we're off. Let's take it down just a hair. There we go. That's a little more controllable. There we go. All right. We'll pump up the volume just a little bit here. There you go. Now, I don't think there's any unwanted slop in that. So, next is the good old torque wrench. There we go. There's 74 there. $74 there. $74 there. And $74 there. We'll go back and double check. 74. 74. 74. There we go. 74 foot-pounds. The sides, the wheel bearings have been greased on this prior to the start of today's video, just so you guys know. I said that in the beginning. We've inspected everything else. We do have, bear with me for one moment, a little piece of rubber attaches right up underneath here. That has ripped loose there. This is our sway bar setup. I don't think that's anything big to worry about, but something to keep in mind. Maybe order the part. It's not very difficult. It's this whole assembly right here. Oh, another thing that we did, I'm glad we're over here and we're looking at it, is I've maxed out the shocks here in the back. I maxed out the adjustment on both sides, obviously. So we should get a much stiffer ride and a little more ground clearance. And the ground clearance is really what we're interested in. We've been banging the bottom of this thing something fierce. Especially this last trip. We hit quite a bit. So we've adjusted that out. And we'll talk, the next ride we'll talk about not only the feel and the performance of the spacers, but the feel and the performance with the shocks maxed out. And there's another reason why. there's another reason why we maxed these adjustments out on the shocks, and that is, if you can see right here, we've been hitting this sway bar attachment right here where my finger is, right there. We've been hitting right here, making contact with the muffler during some of the riding. So we're getting enough push up on this assembly and enough moving over that with a little luck, this adjustment will prevent that from happening anymore. We can always back this out one. Like I said, we're maxed out now. So that's another thing we've changed since the last ride. All right, let's go ahead and remount these tires. So let's get that mounted. Let's get this chair out of the way. It's these high-end production value that I'm giving you guys here. Nothing but the best. For what few Toto Bravo fans I have, right? So let's get these things squared away. All right. So you're all mounted up there. Hopefully we're still rolling over there. Tighten that down. pretty squared away. Let's go ahead and lower it, and then we'll move to the front of the bike. There we go. All right. Now we got it. Let's see what we've got. Oh yeah, there is a pretty big difference here. We're looking at about 13 and 3/4 right here at the very back end, not from the hitch, but from the back end here. 13 and 3/4 was definitely a pretty big difference there. All right, we got the bike turned around. Let's go ahead and knock out the front. Of course, before we do that, we will loosen up the lug nuts. So far, this Hercules 20-volt, 5-amp-hour impact wrench has been fantastic from Harbor Freight. Really happy with that. We're going to put the battery on the charger in the meantime. All right, let's get her jacked up. See where we need to be. Yeah, there we go. Do a little bit of an inspection. Grab the camera. Go ahead and do an inspection. And see how everything's looking here. Everything looks good on this side. Nice and tight. Shocks look good. Look at that boot. That boot looks good. Shaft is good. No tears in there. Everything seems to look really good. See our protection for the radiator line. It's holding up well. Brake pads look like they have plenty of meat. Right there and there, yep, plenty. They look good. Everything looks good. Nothing's jumping out at me. It looks like it could be a problem. Nothing bent. Doesn't look like anything's loose. Everything looks good there. Yep. We ride this bike hard too. I am very pleased that we don't have any problems. Seriously, that is and it's phenomenal. Everything looks really good. All right. So what we'll do is we're gonna get this torn apart here so we can get in here and grease that wheel bearing. All right. Let's get these brakes off. Block too much. Brake pads look good. Plenty of meat on there. So we'll set that aside. And we'll take this centerpiece off here. Get the Carter pin out. See if we can't straighten that out of here. There you go. Holy crap-a-nolies. All right. So we finally got that out. That was a pain in the butt. But at least you know it wasn't going to come off on its own, now was it? So next is the castle nut. Make sure that we're amped up. There it is. Look at that. 2 washers. Make sure you get both of those. And now, what we've all been waiting for. Look at that. So we'll clean that off. We'll clean that off, and then we will get to the nitty-gritty of it all. Let's clean the old splines here and take a good look at them. They seem pretty dry again. Everything seems pretty dry in there. I definitely would suggest, if you are the owner of a Polaris product with the sealed bearings, the so-called sealed bearings, I would definitely suggest that you do wheel bearing maintenance as often as you can tolerate to do it. And I think you will definitely as often as you can do it, it will definitely benefit your quad for sure. Because these sealed bearings, I would rather have Zerk fittings up here where I could just put grease in before and after every ride. That would be a lot better, but obviously that's not where we're at. So as I'm looking at that, I don't know how well you can see in there, but everything looks pretty good. We got it pretty clean. Everything looks pretty good. I don't think our bearings are bad. So we'll set that down. Grab our 30mm, which you guys see right here. Feed that onto here. It always helps if you come back here with your hand. Make sure that this is horizontal. That plugs in rather easily there. Grab your grease gun. And it's always interesting to see how many pumps does it take to fill it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll say 10 or 11 on this back one. So there you go. So next, let's get a little of this excess grease, work it into here. Make sure everything in here is nice and greased up. All right, so there's that. So here, work it in these splines in there. Turn it over, work it on here. Looks pretty good. Clean our hands so we can keep it off the brake portion. Push this down. There we go. All right, so now we need our 2 washers and our castle nut. There you go. Get this Carter pin bent into place. There we go. Alright, now, so there's our 4. So there's that. Get these gloves off that we use for greasing the wheel bearings. Well, we did it again, didn't we? We did that over there on the other side too.
Narrowed walled socket. Put this on 1. Bump this up to 3.
Get the brakes back on. Spread those out a little bit. There we go. There we go. And then grab our bolts for the brake assembly here. And find the proper placement for these bad boys. So bear with me for a moment. Brake pads back on. Let's lock the brakes. Now, let's try to get to that one's good. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. All right. So, there you go. There we go. Back up this view because me being up close here doesn't do you guys any good. All right, we're on the opposite side now. We're going to go ahead and inspect the same parts we inspected earlier. On this side, everything seems solid. All of our protective coverings for the radiator hose looks good. No rubbing there. Reservoir looks good. Everything down here looks good. Brake pads. Get a good angle on that. I'll try to anyways. I can get a light. Brake pads. Plenty of meat there. No issues. Shaft. Driveline. CV boots all seem very good. Everything here seems pretty solid. So we're going to go ahead and pull this off just like we did on the other side. I'm going to spare you guys all of this. I may come back to when I am actually greasing the wheel bearing. Definitely come back when I'm putting on the spacer and then the wheels. So we got $17. I'm sorry, I forgot to turn the camera on, so I apologize for that. But I got 17 initial pumps. So let's get some inside of here. All right, some on the back. Some there. We'll call it a day. So there we are. I'm sorry, doing probably a lot of that off camera. Doesn't do you guys any good if I'm not showing you, all right? So we're all tackied up there. Let's put this back on. There we go. She was a little uncooperative. Washers. Castle nut.
Untitled Bravo. Hey, this is Untitled Bravo. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Putting on wheel spacers, inspecting some of the chassis, and ultimately, hey, this is Untitled Bravo. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment. Definitely subscribe. Definitely comment. Like or dislike's fine. Hope you enjoyed it. We inspected some parts of the chassis. We greased the wheel bearings, which all needed it, and put on the wheel spacers, the 1-inch wheel spacers from EPI. So I hope you guys got something out of the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and until I see you out on the trail again, thanks for watching. Alright, so you can see, we got our spacer on, our final spacer. So let's tighten it down. Oops, not fitting onto that one. We must be a little crooked right off the bat, so let's loosen that one up. Nope. Bump it up just a hair.
For the price, this impact wrench from Harbor Freight, I think I've said it 3 times, this thing's a stud. Love it. Alright, I need to put the brakes back on. Got a little ahead of myself, didn't I? Let's take our gloves off. We don't need those anymore. Let's
Alright. Nice and tight.
now we're good with the brakes. All right. Now we'll lock the brakes in place. There we go. Brakes are locked in place. We can now go for our 70 pounds. There is one. There's 2. 3. And 4. All right. So everything is tight as it should be. All right, let's put this last tire on. And we'll call this complete until we get out. Take it for a ride. Let's see how it does. All right, let's let it down.